started the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop way back in 1989. It was a small place, tucked away in Las Vegas. We dealt with everything you can imagine, from jewelry to electronics to, well, weird, historical items. We worked hard, 7 days a week. Our goal was simple: make a fair deal and keep the lights on. We never dreamed that our little shop would one day be famous all around the world. It was just me, my dad, and later my son Corey, trying to make a living in this crazy city. The idea for a TV show came much later. People were always fascinated by our shop. They would come in and see the strange and wonderful things we had. They loved hearing the stories behind the items. A production company saw this potential. They thought a show about a real pawn shop could be a hit. At first, I was skeptical. Who would want to watch us haggle over prices all day? But we gave it a shot. We wanted to show people what our world was really like. We wanted to share our passion for history and the art of the deal with everyone. When Pawn Stars first aired in 2009, everything changed overnight. Suddenly, our little shop was a tourist attraction. People lined up down the block just to come inside. The phone never stopped ringing. It was a whirlwind. We weren't just pawnbrokers anymore, we were television personalities. But through it all, we tried to stay true to who we are. We are still a family, we are still passionate about history, and we still love the thrill of seeing a rare and amazing item walk through our door. The show gave us a platform to share that love with millions of people. Our shop became a place where history came alive. We weren't a stuffy museum. We were a place where you could touch, hold, and even buy a piece of the past. The show highlighted this unique aspect of our business. It showed that every item, no matter how small, has a story to tell. From old toys to Super Bowl rings, we saw it all. And among the most fascinating items that came our way were coins. These small pieces of metal held incredible stories of empires, revolutions, and forgotten treasures. They became some of the most memorable stars of our show. I'll never forget one of the first truly big coin deals we did on camera. It set the tone for everything that was to come. A guy walked in with a simple-looking coin. It wasn't flashy or made of gold, but he claimed it was special. It was an Idaho Territorial gold ingot from 1861. Most people would have walked right past it. It looked more like a rough piece of metal than a coin, but I knew that in the world of numismatics, the rarest items are often the most unassuming. I had to take a closer look. My heart started to beat a little faster. I had read about these ingots in books, but I had never seen one in person. They were made by a private assay office in Idaho during the gold rush. They were used like money before official United States coins were widely available in the territory. Very few of these survived. They were often melted down for their gold content. Finding one in this condition was like finding a needle in a haystack. The seller knew he had something good, but I don't think he realized just how good it was. This is where my favorite part of the job comes in. The negotiation. The seller wanted a high price, and for good reason. I had to be careful. I needed to verify its authenticity and figure out its true market value. Every deal is a risk. If I overpay, I lose money. If I offer too little, the seller walks away, and I lose a piece of history. After some back and forth, we finally agreed on a price. It was a lot of money, but I knew I was holding a genuine piece of American frontier history. It was a huge win for the shop. That deal showed our audience that pawn shops are not just about selling stolen stereos. We are in the business of history. That ingot wasn't just a lump of gold, it was a story of pioneers, prospectors, and the Wild West. It proved that incredible treasures could be hiding in anyone's collection. It also showed the importance of knowledge. Without knowing the history of that ingot, I would have missed out on a fantastic opportunity. It was one of the first times the show really highlighted how exciting the world of rare coins could be. There's a special kind of excitement in the shop when someone brings in a collection of old coins. You never know what you're going to find. It could be a jar full of common pennies, or it could contain a hidden gem worth thousands of dollars. That's the thrill of the hunt. My eyes always light up. I get to be a detective, examining each piece for dates, mint marks, and signs of rarity. It's a treasure hunt that happens right on my countertop. The seller is often just as excited, hoping they've stumbled upon a small fortune. The reactions are the best part of the show. Sometimes a person comes in thinking they have something priceless. They'll show me a 1943 copper penny, which is famously rare. But 99.9% of the time, It's a steel penny that someone has plated with copper. The disappointment on their face is tough to see. I have to be the one to break the bad news. I always try to do it gently and explain why it's not the real deal. It's an emotional roller coaster for them, and honestly, for me too. I'm always rooting for them to have the real thing. On the other hand, there are moments of pure, unadulterated joy. I love it when someone brings in a coin they think is worth only a few dollars, and I get to tell them it's worth 100 times that. Their eyes go wide. A huge smile spreads across their face. They can't believe their luck. It's like they won the lottery. Those moments are what make my job so rewarding. We once had a woman bring in a coin she found while cleaning out her grandfather's attic. It turned out to be a rare Carson City silver dollar, worth a small fortune. She was absolutely speechless. This mix of hope, surprise, and sometimes disappointment is what makes the coin segment so compelling. Viewers get to ride that emotional wave with us. They learn to spot the fakes and recognize the treasures. They feel the seller's excitement when I call in an expert to verify a rare find. And they feel the tension during the negotiation. Will they make a deal? Will they walk away? Every coin that comes through the door brings its own little drama, its own story. It's real life, unscripted, and full of surprises. That's why people love it. One of the most legendary coin deals on Pawn Stars involved a man named Jody. He walked into the shop with a story that sounded like it was straight out of a movie. He was a treasure hunter, and he had found a gold coin from the famous 1715 Spanish treasure fleet. This fleet of ships was carrying immense riches from the New World back to Spain when it was destroyed by a hurricane off the coast of Florida. The treasure was lost to the sea for centuries. Finding a single coin from that fleet is the dream of every treasure hunter. Jody placed the coin on my counter. It was a beautiful gold escudo, dated 1715. You could still see the Spanish coat of arms clearly. The coin had an irregular shape, typical of the cobs that were crudely made in the colonial mints. But what made it truly special was its story. This piece of gold had been sitting on the ocean floor for almost 300 years. It had witnessed a historic disaster. Holding it in my hand felt incredible. It was like holding a direct link to the past, a tangible piece of a legendary shipwreck. Of course, with a story this good, I had to be sure. The world of treasure coins is filled with fakes and replicas. I needed to bring in an expert. My coin guy came down to the shop and examined the escudo carefully. He checked its weight, its markings, and the effects of its time underwater. After a thorough inspection, he confirmed it was authentic. My heart leaped. This was the real deal. It was a genuine piece of sunken treasure. Now came the hard part, agreeing on a price for something so unique and historic. The negotiation was intense. Jody knew he had something special, and he wanted top dollar. I wanted it for the shop, but I couldn't overpay. We went back and forth, haggling over the price. The tension was real. In the end, we struck a deal. I paid him $18,000 for that single gold coin. Jody walked out of the shop a happy man, and I became the proud owner of a piece of history. That episode became a fan favorite. It perfectly captured the magic of Pawn Stars. A regular guy, an incredible treasure, and a life-changing deal. Every coin collector dreams of finding the Holy Grail. In the world of American coins, one of those grails is the 1922 high-relief peace dollar. The story behind this coin is fascinating. Back in 1921, the U.S. Mint created the peace dollar with a beautiful, high-relief design. It was, honestly, like a sculpture on a coin. However, the high relief caused problems. It was difficult to strike and, wore out the coin dies way too quickly. So, in 1922, the mint switched to a lower relief design. The legend, though, is that a small number of 1922 dated coins were accidentally struck with the old high-relief design. One day, a man came into the shop claiming to have one of these ultra-rare coins. If he was right, he was holding something that could be worth $1 million or more. My skepticism was, honestly, at an all-time high. Finding a 1922 high-relief peace dollar is like, well, finding a unicorn. Many have been claimed, but very few have ever been authenticated. I examined the coin closely. It definitely had a higher relief than a normal 1922 peace dollar. But, was it the real thing, or just a well-made fake? The stakes were incredibly high. I knew this was way above my pay grade. I needed the best experts in the country to look at this. So we sent the coin to be graded and authenticated by a professional service. The entire process was filmed for the show. The suspense was killing me, and the seller was on pins and needles. This could be a life-changing moment for him. The weeks we waited for the results felt like an eternity. The whole world was watching. Was the $1 million coin in my pawn shop real? The anticipation was almost unbearable for everyone involved. Finally, the results came back. The experts determined that the coin was not a genuine 1922 high relief. It was most likely a 1921 coin that had been altered to look like a 1922. The disappointment was huge. The seller's dreams of becoming a millionaire were dashed in an instant. It was a tough moment, but it was also an important lesson for our viewers. It showed just how tricky the world of rare coins can be. Even something that looks perfect can be a clever fake. It was a dramatic end to a thrilling story, and a perfect example of the highs and lows we experience every day. People who watch the show see the final deal, but they don't see all the work that goes on behind the scenes. When a potentially valuable coin comes in, the first thing I do is a quick visual inspection. I'm looking for the basics, the date, the mint mark, and the overall condition. I use a jeweler's loupe, a small magnifying glass, to see the fine details. I'm checking for wear and tear, scratches, or any signs of cleaning. A coin that has been harshly cleaned can lose most of its value, even if it's rare. These first few seconds of inspection are crucial. The next secret is knowing who to call. I'm a jack of all trades, but I'm a master of none. I know a lot about a lot of things, but for something as specialized as a rare coin, I need an expert. Over the years, I've built a network of the best specialists in every field. When I call my coin guy on the show, he's a real expert I've known and trusted for years. These relationships are the backbone of my business. Their opinion gives me the confidence to spend big money, and it gives the seller peace of mind that they are getting a fair assessment. Another thing people don't realize is how much research happens off camera. After a seller leaves, whether we made a deal or not, my team and I often spend hours researching the item. We look at auction records, read specialized books, and check online databases. We do this to confirm the expert's opinion and to learn more about the item's history. This constant learning is what keeps us sharp. The coin market is always changing. Prices go up and down, new fakes appear. If you don't stay educated, you'll fall behind and lose a lot of money very quickly. Finally, the negotiation itself is an art. It's not just about numbers, it's about psychology. I have to read the seller. Are they desperate to sell? Are they emotionally attached to the item? Do they know its true value? I always start with a fair offer, but one that leaves me room to make a profit. That's the nature of the business. A secret to a good deal is finding that sweet spot where both the buyer and the seller walk away feeling like they won. It's a delicate dance, and it's one of the most challenging and exciting parts of my job. What I love most about coins is that they are so much more than just money. Each one is a tiny time capsule, a piece of history you can hold in your hand. When someone brings in a Roman coin, for example, I think about the world it came from. This small piece of bronze or silver might have been used by a Roman soldier to buy bread. It might have been held by an emperor. It has survived for 2,000 years, passing through countless hands and witnessing the rise and fall of empires. That's what fascinates me. We once had a guy bring in a collection of coins from the Civil War. They weren't particularly valuable in terms of money, but their historical value was immense. They were fractional currency and tokens that soldiers used in their camps. Holding them, you could almost imagine the young men who used them, far from home, fighting in a terrible war. The coins told a story of hardship and resilience. We made a deal, not because I thought I would make a huge profit, but because I wanted those stories to be preserved and shared in my shop. Another time, a woman brought in a beautiful silver dollar. She explained that it was the only thing her great-grandfather had in his pocket when he immigrated to America. He kept it his whole life as a good luck charm, a reminder of his new beginning. She was selling it because her family needed the money for medical bills. The coin had immense sentimental value. That deal was about more than just a coin. It was about family, struggle, and the American dream. I made sure to give her a very fair price, respecting the deep personal history attached to that piece of silver. These stories are what separate us from a typical coin shop or a museum. We get to hear the personal connections people have to these items, whether it's a coin found in a sunken ship, a token from a battlefield, or an immigrant's lucky charm. Every coin has a narrative. On ARD, we don't just put a price on an item, we try to tell its story. We want our viewers to appreciate not just the monetary value, but the rich history and human emotion embedded in these small metallic objects. That's what makes them truly priceless. One of the most amazing things about is how it can change someone's life overnight. A person can walk into my shop as a complete unknown and walk out as a mini celebrity with a pocket full of cash. This is especially true with big coin deals. When someone like Jody, the treasure hunter with the 1715 Fleet coin, appeared on the show, he became famous. People recognized him on the street. Other treasure hunters wanted to hear his story. His appearance on our show gave him a platform and validated his life's passion. The show makes people famous because their stories are so relatable. We see a regular person who found something amazing in their attic or at a flea market. It gives viewers hope. It makes them think, hey, maybe I have a rare coin sitting in a drawer somewhere. When we filmed the segment with the guy who thought he had the $1 million 1922 peace dollar, he became the talk of the coin collecting world. Even though the coin wasn't real, his story was so dramatic that people remembered him. He became famous for the what-if moment. These deals don't just make the seller famous, they also bring incredible attention to the coins themselves. After we aired the episode about the Spanish Fleet coin, interest in shipwrecked treasure went through the roof. People started learning about the history of the fleet and the art of treasure hunting. Our show has a huge educational impact. We take something obscure, like a specific type of rare coin, and we make it interesting to millions of people who had never heard of it before. We create new collectors and new history buffs with every episode. The financial impact can be truly life-changing. For many sellers, the money they get from a single coin deal can help them buy a house, pay off debt, or fund their children's education. We had one seller who used the money from a collection of gold coins to start his own small business. Seeing that happen is incredibly fulfilling. It's proof that we're not just buying and selling old stuff. We're providing opportunities. We're helping people turn a piece of forgotten history into a brand new future. That's a powerful thing. Looking back, it's amazing to see how these coin deals have shaped our shop and our lives. Before the show, we were a successful pawn shop, but we were known mostly to locals. The coin deals helped put us on the global map. They established our reputation as a place where real history is bought and sold. People now travel from all over the world, not just to see us, but to bring us their rare coins. They trust us to know what they have, and to give them a fair price for it. These deals have transformed our inventory. My shop is now like a museum where everything is for sale. We have coins from ancient Rome, gold from sunken Spanish galleons, and rare dollars from the early days of America. Each one of these coins was a memorable television moment. They are not just inventory, they are stars of the show. Customers love coming in and seeing a coin they remember from a specific episode. It connects them to the show and to the history of the item in a very personal way. Our collection tells the story of. For me personally, these coins have been a constant source of learning and excitement. I've been doing this for a long time, but I still learn something new with every rare coin that comes in. The show has given me the opportunity to hold some of the rarest coins in the world, items I had only read about in books. It has deepened my passion for numismatics and for history in general. This isn't just a job for me. It's a never-ending education, and I get to share it with the world. That's a dream come true. Ultimately, the legacy of these coin deals is about making history accessible. We took the niche, sometimes intimidating world of coin collecting and made it fun and understandable for everyone. We showed that a small piece of metal can tell a grand story about human achievement, disaster, and dreams. These deals changed the lives of the sellers. They transformed our family business, and they inspired a new generation of history lovers. And it all started with a simple question that we still ask every day. What have you got?